If in the course of your business you find yourself prospecting for contacts, either for potential clients, if you're a consultant of some kind, or maybe for making contact for some kind of link building, white hat link building you're working on, there are two tools for Gmail that can help you manage um, your contacts or more effectively make contacts. The first one is called Boomerang. If you go to Google and search Firefox, Boomerang. This is an add-on for Gmail, and I'm going to show you the add-on in Firefox, although you can find it, I believe, in Chrome as well. But you're going to find this boomeranggmail.com is the URL right now when I'm recording this video. And it looks like you can install it for Firefox, Chrome, or Safari. And Boomerang basically gives you some extra tools in Gmail when you're looking at it in one of those browsers and you have it installed as a plugin. And I'll show you what it does. So once I have Boomerang installed and I go to my Gmail, this is actually my personal Gmail, but if you handle your work email through Gmail, which you can do, then this is going to be really useful for you. You're going to see that I have a couple options here that Boomerang gives me. I've got a Boomerang menu up at the top here. I have a Boomerang menu here on the side, or in this menu here, and then also sometimes I'll get something like this right here. And basically, Boomerang can do several things for you that are really useful. The first one is that says Boomerang this, and what it's asking me is, and I can do that from this menu as well, and I can say, I want this to come return this conversation to my inbox. At a specific time or in a couple weeks or something like that. So if you get an email from a prospect or from somebody who's asking for something from you and you want to get back to them at a certain time, rather than trying to put it on a list somewhere, you can actually just tell your Boomerang plugin, okay, put this back in my inbox unread, at such and such a time or in a couple hours or in a couple days or weeks or whatever. So that's one of the first things that Boomerang will let you do. And sometimes Boomerang will guess that you're going to want to do this. For example, this is a calendar for the elementary school where my kids go to school. And so it has a lot of dates in it. And so Boomerang is trying to guess, hey, this email has a lot of dates, and let's see if it's trying to guess for me when I might want it to repeat and come back into my inbox. So that's one of the first things that Boomerang does. I'm going to show you another thing that it does. I've hit reply on this email, and so I'm going to be sending an email back to this email address that sends me this thing. But if this were a prospect and I was emailing back to them for one reason or another, there are two things I can do with this that are really useful. The first one is a send later option. And so, for example, if I have a bunch of emails I'm working on sending out on Friday, I can tell them, don't send this today. Send this at 1 in the morning on Monday, or 5 in the morning on Monday. So basically, you can send an email over the weekend at it so that when they come back in on Monday, it's at the top of their email inbox instead of at the bottom from being sent on Friday. So that's one option. Or maybe I want to send this email back to somebody, but I know I'm not going to have time for this project for a couple days. Well, I can just send it in a couple days without having to worry about it. And so that's what what the send later option lets you do. The other thing that's really useful is that I can ask it to boomerang this message for me under certain conditions. So if I don't hear back in a certain number of days, and this is great for prospecting, because maybe you're sending out tons of emails, you forget about it, and people don't email you back, and then they're just lost to you. Well, in this case, you can say, if I don't hear back, boomerang this back to me, and I'll resend it. Or you can tell it to boomerang even if someone replies. So that's the other thing that Boomerang does for you, is it gives you the option for sending messages at a different time and for bringing messages back to you if the person doesn't reply. So you can see how this would be a really useful tool for any kind of prospecting, whether it's for clients or for link building or whatever. It makes it so you don't have to think about this stuff. I'm at addons.mozilla.org to show you the second tool for Gmail that can help you a lot with your prospecting, and it's called Rapportive. I'm going to just search for Rapportive. It's the first one that comes up, and I can just search for Reportive on addons.mozilla.org and add this to Firefox. And when you add Reportive to Firefox, it puts a sidebar on your messages that gives you information about the person who has sent the message. I've got a screenshot I'm going to show you of that. So I took a screenshot of this so that I could just box out a few of the pieces of information about this. This is an email I had to my buddy Dwight. I had some questions about animation books and asked him for recommendations, and also we were just trying to catch up. We haven't seen each other in a while. And when I got this email back from him, and I have Reportive installed, so this is just my normal email box you can see here, and the list of messages between him and me and my mom, questions about this stuff for a library. And over on the side here is this info box about my buddy. And if this were somebody I didn't know, this would be more useful to me, obviously. But so it tells me his name, his email address. It gathers some information about him, if that information is available from various places. It searches a number of different social networking sites. You can see that I connected my Gmail account to my LinkedIn, and so it says that we're already connected. If he had a Google Plus account, that would show up here. A Facebook account that was related to this email address or these names, that would show up here as well. As well as it shows that he's in my Google Contacts. You can see that it has found that he has a couple Blogger blogs. And in this case, because I have his number for from some other areas, either from LinkedIn or maybe in my Google address book, his phone number came up here as well. The reason this would be useful for prospecting, now this is a friend of mine, so I didn't need this information on him. But let's say that I got an email from somebody, emailed him back, or he emailed me back, or I'm sending him a new email message, and I want to hit him at multiple fronts. So I'm going to send him an email. It's going to find his LinkedIn account for me, and if we weren't connected, there'd be a little button here that says connect. So he could be getting an email from me, and at the same time getting a request to connect on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Google Plus. I could look through here and look at some of his Blogger blogs and add that into the email and say, hey, I checked out your blog and I saw this and that, you know. And so you're basically able to sort of find out more about this person that you're contacting, and then either include that in your email or send them a friend request at the same time that you send them an email. And so they're kind of seeing you on a bunch of different fronts, and you're much more likely to get a response. So those are the two things, Boomerang for Gmail, and then also Reportive for Gmail, two really good tools that you can use for any kind of prospecting, any kind of making contacts and attempting to make those contacts stick when you're sending emails to people. Those are two great tools for Gmail.